Hi, my name's Kane Ramsey. Thank you very much for choosing to join me or thinking about joining me in this Master Your Emotions and Revolutionise Your Social Skills training course. I just want to open up by advocating that emotional self-regulation is one of the most invaluable skill sets we can develop in life. Right? In fact, it's absolutely essential if we actually want other people in life to take us seriously. I mean, come on, if we're just going to get real right from the off, how much do you enjoy spending time with people who are like really stressed out or really anxious or really scared or really angry or really frustrated or things like that? And as you most likely are already aware, it can really be quite tiresome, and it's definitely off-putting being around people who haven't yet learned how to emotionally regulate themselves. So that's essentially what this course is all about. I'm going to spend quite a bit of time looking at your mind, how it is that you process information, but for one specific purpose, all right, which is essentially about sharpening up the way in which you A, relate to yourself, so that you can B, relate and connect more meaningfully with other people. Sound good? Right, this is what we are going to cover. As I share with you a common sense and highly actionable set of life principles, that's all that I'm going to offer you, some valuable life principles for managing your mind, for regulating your emotions, and for transforming the quality of your day-to-day relationships. Some people go through life assuming that it is their emotions and their emotions alone that determine their quality of life, whether they are happy or not. And I'm going to guarantee that that is not the case whatsoever. What is the case is that it's the quality and the depth and the meaningfulness of the connections and the relationships that we have with other people that generally tends to determine how well our lives go, socially, intimately, professionally, and you can probably see that this is true. So this is my goal for you throughout this training course. This is what I want to help you understand. I want to help you to break your life down into two core sets of competences, if that's all right, because life is all about getting competent, right? In life, we appreciate competent people, don't we? People who can just conduct themselves well. First and foremost, we want to look at your personal competence, which is what we'll unpack throughout section 1, this section, and in most of the second section as well, which is essentially about your ability to remain self-aware and self-regulated. So what is your personal competence kind of, what's it made up of? Well, it's made up of, first and foremost, your self-awareness, the awareness that you have of internal and external stimuli. Your self-awareness essentially develops in life as we're aware of how it is that we're triggered. Come on, there's a lot of people out there who get triggered very, very easily. You know, you might look at them or say something to them, then the next thing they're down in the dumps, or they're really angry, or they've lost their temper, or they've gone into some sort of state of panic or sadness or moodiness or something like this. And the beautiful thing about the human personality is that it's actually fluid, which means that it can change. As we learn the different ways in which we can improve and become more effective human beings, we naturally gravitate towards just making those improvements. The issue that we have is that it's not particularly easy to grow and develop ourselves as human beings when we're not aware of the ways in which we can grow and develop ourselves. Make sense? So I want to enlighten you in this area, if that's okay. So self-awareness comes first, but self-management comes second. You cannot manage yourself in areas that you don't know you can manage yourself in, right? Which is why I've framed this course as kind of master your emotions, which really only is able to happen once you've kind of mastered your mind. So you master your mind, then you master your emotions, and then you can go on to revolutionize and transform the quality of your relationships. It's the natural order of things. It's a process. All right, I'm going to help you get with the process, if that's okay. Because as I do this, you're going to develop naturally your degree of social competence. There's one thing being personally competent, and that's fine. You can be all personally competent all by yourself. But if no one else in the world gets to benefit from this, then you're going to live quite a lonely and relationally unsatisfied life, all right? So let's see if we can work on that. I want you to develop your ability to relate responsibly with other people for the purpose of positively influencing other people. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but all of the time, you are already influencing people. You are drawing people towards you because of your personality, how you conduct yourself, your maturity, your consistency, how regulated you are. So people are naturally going to be drawn towards you. They're going to be attracted to you, or they might be smiling at you, but they're going to be taking a step backwards saying, oh my goodness, get me away from this person. So that sounds a little bit extreme. And it might not be that you are at either end of the extreme, but there's a pretty good chance you're somewhere in between, all right? Most of us are. So I want to help you understand what social competence actually looks like by A, helping you to raise your social awareness, which is your ability to read people and social situations accurately. The problem that many people have is that they don't understand the difference between perception and reality, i.e., what I mean by this is some people make snap judgments, they become emotionally triggered and assume that the assumptions that they make are real. And that's just a surefire way of completely undermining our relationships. No one likes being judged. No one likes being assumed the worst of. But unfortunately, this mind of ours is very, very good at making these snap, unconsidered judgments. So we've got to understand what kind of conducting ourselves in this way can cost us, which is more often than not a cost that none of us really want to incur. As we develop then social awareness, because we've developed self-awareness, our ability to manage ourselves, we're now becoming more socially aware. In turn, we get to become more effective at managing and scaling up and developing and enhancing the quality of our day-to-day relationships. That's it. All right, your ability to forge healthy and respectful connections with the other people in your life, which is most likely the reason why you are embarking upon this course. So this is what I have in store for you. It's, I would say it's a simple process, but it's not. It's going to require some hard work. There's no quick fix techniques going on here, right? No 3 simple steps that you can take towards transforming your mind, your emotions, or your relationships. You're going to have to go through this process and perhaps even get your sleeves dirty. So this is it. This is how I'm going to break down the course. The course is broken down into 3 sections, but we're going to be unpacking 5 different kind of themes, if you like, or 5 different topics. First and foremost, in this opening section, I want to unpack the fundamentals of self-awareness. I just want to help you to become a little bit better acquainted with yourself. Some people who are relatively self-aware might feel like I'm teaching them to suck eggs, but it's imperative that we kind of all get off the same page, if that's all right. Because as long as we're all kind of building up from the same set of foundations, then the ideas that I present later on in the course are just going to make a lot more sense to you, because I'm always going to be referring back to what I cover in this first main primary section. So that's section 1, the fundamentals of self-awareness, which is essentially all about you developing a better relationship with yourself. Because if you don't have a great relationship with yourself, how on earth is it you think you're going to develop strong, meaningful, healthy relationships with others? Right? How we relate to ourselves just manifests itself and expresses itself through the depth of connections that we forge with other people. Leads us on to section number 2, self-awareness for self-discipline and control, which is all about us now developing a framework in our thinking for healthy self-regulation. Because listen, if you want to be effective in your relationships, sometimes some people are going to say things or do things that you don't like. Not all people deserve the silent treatment or a piece of your mind. Not all people are bad. Good bad is something that we want to be moving away from. Because if you think about it, when we're judging people as being good or bad, we're putting people in a box. And the question is, well, how do you like being put in a box? The good box or the bad box? We don't like this, right? What is it we would all love as human beings? To be understood by people. We love being understood, don't we? We love it when people take time to ask us questions, to understand us. When we feel like we are understood by people, we feel valued, we feel important. And likewise, if you want to become more influential in the context of your relationships, this is only going to happen when other people feel listened to and understood and more appreciated by you. So as I've mentioned, this is a process, all right? Section number 3, the fundamentals of social awareness. which means that we want to understand personality types. We want to understand that people are not necessarily the things that they say or what they do. We want to look at ourselves as well and the general attitude that we take towards people. Because we've all been through this learning process throughout the earlier stages of our life, i.e. our relational experience and how we relate to people will have been influenced by the relationships that we had with our parents, family members, teachers, siblings, colleagues, managers, and so on and so forth. So we go through life and we just pick up bad habits. This section is about seeing if we can identify some of your bad habits so that we can remove them and create some space in your life for some better, more healthier ones. This will then lead us on to considering the relationship between social awareness and relational effectiveness. Because, if you're not socially aware, then there's a pretty good chance that you are assigning and projecting your perspective and what you think is right and wrong and good and bad onto other people. And this will never go down well. All right, as long as you are taking the lead in prioritizing your agenda, your perspective, we want to look at some basic communication skills here as well. Some people go through life and become gifted communicators in monologuing, never learning. There's a big difference between monologue and dialogue. Monologue's a one-way conversation or a one-way communication, whereas dialogue is a two-way communication, where we intentionally create space for other people to give voice to whatever is inside of them. That then gives us opportunity to actually hear people. We ain't never going to hear people if we're dominating a conversation and doing all of the talking. There's some very, very practical skills and disciplines that we can build into our lives to really enhance our social and relational effectiveness, which is what this course is all about. Relational effectiveness for social influence. Now, social influence might not be something that interests you, but what most likely will interest you is your ability to be able to speak into people's lives, earn people's trust, and show people that you are the kind of person who's a worthwhile investment of time, energy, effort, so on and so forth. And ultimately, people out there in the world today, there's so much noise, social media. We live in a fast-paced global society. People's time is divided. People only have so many hours in the day, and all of the time, every single minute, we're making snap decisions, deciding who we're going to give our time and our attention to. And realistically, if you want people's time and attention and you want to be taken seriously, you want to forge some meaningful connections, you want to be liked, loved, trusted, respected, honored even, you're going to have to earn it. All right. So I want to share with you a process through which you can earn people's trust. So to help you in this learning journey, I think we're going to be spending somewhere between 11 to 13 hours together. We've created a course learning logbook for you, which you're going to be able to access in the additional materials section. Download that. You're going to find a little bit of space next to every kind of video to document any aha moments that you have, any realizations, or any kind of ideas that you might want to come back to and reflect upon later on. I'm also throughout the course going to recommend other resources, books, other authors, other teachers that I've come across throughout the years that have really helped influence and shape and mold my thinking. All right. So you access that. Just go and have a little search. You'll find it. It's not hard to find. If you are watching this course on a mobile phone screen, you might want to log into a desktop. Sometimes the resources are, in fact, they're usually easier to find on a desktop rather than a mobile phone. So just take that tip. But lastly, before we get started, I just want to make a quick disclosure, if I may, if that's all right. And this is that regardless how great a teacher is, right? I'm just a teacher, right? That's all that I am. I'm not a guru, I'm not a miracle worker, and I most certainly am not the wisest man in the planet, all right? I'm just a teacher. All I understand is what I've grown to understand throughout my life up until now, based upon the information that I've kind of absorbed and also based upon my life experiences to date. So there's a whole load of stuff that I don't know. And likewise, there's going to be a whole load of stuff about yourself and about life that you don't know. So a teacher cannot make you learn anything. I'm not a miracle worker. For the teacher's words to enlighten you, you must welcome them, reflect on them, find a place in your mind to organize them so that in time you will hopefully go on to understand them. Once you understand these words, you will be able to then build them into your life, which is my goal for you. Teaching is my responsibility, my friend, but learning is yours. So now I've got that little disclaimer out the way, let us get started, and I look forward to getting this show on the road.